Oh my God, the recession is coming! Inflation is out of control, interest rates are shooting up, crypto and the stock market are in a complete tailspin, and we're just now starting to see some significant layoffs from big corporate companies. So today I thought I would talk about 5 recession-proof side hustle ideas for designers and other creative peeps. And if you stick to the end, I'm going to share my number 1 tip for productivity and success in these trying times.
Hold up for 1 second. I made this video a couple days ago, and I just happened to notice that today, Satori Graphics up here on YouTube actually posted a video with a very similar title. I haven't watched his video yet. I'm sure it's fantastic, but it actually points out 2 things. That, there's obviously a collective idea of what's going to be happening here in the future. And, number 2, obviously he's very concerned about this situation just as much as I am. Maybe let's pay attention, guys. We got some things to be talking about.
Now, I'm not a financial guru. I'm just a dude trying to make a buck out of 87 cents. Maybe I should say 85 because I don't know if you know this, but they're getting rid of the penny. And if you want more financial insight greater than I can give you, well, then go check out Graham Stephan because he's good and he's the guy I listen to on a lot of these things. Oh, and on the penny thing, if you do happen to invest in copper, well, you may want to rethink that. Anyway, today I was at the gym and I saw a statistic on the cable news show, which is always something to be trusted, right? And that news channel claimed that 44% of financial experts that they polled said that we are going to be hitting a full-blown recession by the end of the year. Okay, relax. Let's breathe. Unfortunately, within big recessions, the first budget that usually gets cut is marketing contractors. Corporate companies will slash that cost real quick and then try to bring all that talent in-house because it can be done cheaper that way. What it means is all the freelancers get the boot. Okay, now you can panic! No, don't panic, because if you remember what happened in 2020, things weren't nearly as bad as they seemed at the time. Of course, you remember that little micro recession we suffered because of the pandemic. Pandemic recession? Panda-session? People learned that they couldn't go do things, they couldn't go out anywhere, so they stayed home and they learned how to make things. The first half of 2020 was probably the craftiest year of all time, and some of the people took those things they made and they turned them into a side hustle, making all these things, selling them up on Etsy, and hopefully trying to entice all the people with their hefty stimulus checks to come buy those things. It was a creative revolution, but then the fever broke. People went back to work, and the side hustles, they took a back seat to pretty much everything. Here we are 2 years later, and if those same people get laid off from their corporate gigs now, they know how to go back into that side hustle. But, and it's a big but.
Everyone I know has a big butt.
The problem is that most side hustlers don't actually know how to solve other people's problems. They usually just go and make the things that they think that they should be making because somebody else was making them and thought, well, I should probably do that too. When this recession hits, the hustlers that win will be the ones that know how to solve problems the best. Now, there are a lot of different ways to help other people solve their problems. And these are just 5 side hustles that designers can use and maybe become your main hustle. Now, if you watch these and none of them really kind of scratch that itch for you, but you want me to talk about more, well, then make sure you hit that like button to let me know that you're into this. Number 1, useful print on demand. What does useful print on demand mean? Quite simply, it means that making print on demand products that help other people solve these problems that we're talking about. Let's take a look at Printify's catalog just to brainstorm this a little bit. First things first, let's get this right out of the way. A t-shirt never helped anybody solve any problems. Did they help people feel connected to something? Did they help people feel good about whatever it is because they've emblazoned themselves with some idea that they appreciate? Absolutely. But did they solve a problem? Not usually. Of course, a lot of clothing, bathing suits, bags, sandals, mugs, and, other knickknacks, towels, and whatnot. Can any of these be turned into something to help solve people's problems? What if a gym rat got laid off from their job and decided to become a personal fitness instructor? They could maybe take some of these water bottles and emblazon them with their labeling or their logo or whatever, and then use that to help build clientele. You could be the person to design that for them. I'm going to talk more about journals and notebooks in a second, but what if that same exact person wanted to create customized journals so that they can give them to their clients to track their fitness goals? You could do that with any one of these, but maybe you don't have to serve the professionals directly. What if you just created a shop, like say on Shopify, with print on demand, created nothing but fitness-oriented gear, and then you focus that attention towards people who are trying to achieve fitness goals while they've got all this free time on their hands? Maybe it is a sports bottle and a journal that helps them track their fitness, and maybe it's also some clothing and gear, swimsuit or bralette or whatever that they need to use to help them remind them that they need to get off their butts and get into the gym to do that work while they've got all that free time. The point being that you find the person that you want to serve, you figure out what problem it is that you want to help them solve, and then you go through the catalog and figure out which of these things help them solve that problem and how can I help them by designing something cool for that. Number 2, Canva. Don't laugh and don't get it twisted. Canva is a beast. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at Adobe for a second. Now, this is 2021 stats. In fact, I'm going to be talking about 2021 stats throughout this little segment here. But if you look at Adobe's valuation, they are currently at about $240 billion valuation. That makes sense. They're a juggernaut, right? Well, if you look at Canva, which is not a publicly traded company, by the way, they raised last year $200 million at a $40 billion valuation. This is a company that was built in 2013 and already has 1/5 of the valuation of Adobe. And if you don't think Adobe sees this as a threat, then why did they start Adobe Express last year, which is basically a direct competitor to Canva? Canva is so big, they're bigger than Redbubble, Fiverr, and Etsy combined. And they're not even a publicly traded company yet. As soon as they go public, that valuation is going to go through the roof. And so is the attention on their product. As ubiquitous as you might think Canva is, they're not nearly as big as you think they are, and their customer base is growing all the time, which means those customers need to be served with new ideas. And the people that are serving them with new ideas are the ones that are making templates that are outside of the base of whatever it is that Canva has available. Now, the quality level of Canva's design has definitely come up over time, but there's still plenty of room to serve the person that may not necessarily dig what they're seeing here on the page. In fact, if you go on Etsy, if you go on Creative Market, you maybe even in places like, I think, Design Cuts or Design Bundles or any of these other ones, there's actually people there selling templates for Canva. The people that buy those things are not designers, and they're looking to build something that they can't build on themselves, and maybe you could be the person that helps them with that. Or there's this category right here. Plenty of people are gonna need resumes, and some of these resumes are kind of okay and so-so, but maybe you want to help people design resumes in a way that's, indicative of your style and their style combined. Even if it's not significantly better, if it's just different, it might be just different enough to maybe help you make some sales. And if you go through the catalog of all the things that Canva has available, go through there and think to yourself, like, how can I serve different people by offering up things that'll fit into some of these categories? And then sell the pants off it on Etsy, on Squarespace, on Shopify, wherever it is that you want to sell your digital goods, go do that. Number 3, productivity journals on Amazon KDP. I told you we would get back to it. Gang, there's literally thousands upon thousands of different niches that you could serve with this idea. Now, this isn't the low content book strategy that you see a lot of people push in. This isn't about like, hey, create one template and then just slap a bunch of different designs on the cover. You can go that route if you want. It's probably not going to be as productive as you think. Instead, what I think would be a better strategy is to zero in on the person that you really want to serve. Let's say it is this person that wants to improve their physical fitness and wants to track everything. What are some things that you have seen have been missing from some of those trackers that you can apply into your own designs by building them into a template that you can then share on Amazon KDP? But take it to the next level. If you're a professional designer, why aren't you doing even more with that design? Why can't you incorporate even more aspects that make that particular journal way better than anything else that's being offered out there? What can you do to set yourself apart, to serve that particular niche, to sell to those people that have a problem that you can fix? This requires a deep dive. It requires a little bit of research. It requires you actually spending some time trying to figure out, how can I do it better? Don't just go make a journal. Make the best journal you possibly can, and then become the person that sells that journal. Hell, you could even just get it printed through Amazon KDP and sell it privately on your own website. A little bit more costly that way, but it could be a thing, especially if you went the extra effort for it and could charge more of a premium price. Number 4, one-button solutions. What does that mean? Basically means creating things that people only have to click once, and it creates the thing that they need, that they want, that they can use regularly over and over and over again. Easier said than done, but let's say, for instance, you want to serve other designers. You want to help create things that let other designers make the thing that they want without having to stress through going through all the different techniques and tactics and tips and all the watching a million videos. Maybe that person just wants to press a button and be done with it. And you could do that by creating one-step actions or macros that other people might use in their work. Let me give you a very direct example of what I'm talking about. Right now, I'm in the middle of working on a new product that I'm going to be selling through superlative.com. And essentially what it is taking all of these functions that I use on a regular basis that I know work for me and my style, that other people have said that they enjoy. So I said, well, let's turn them into some actions so that people people can go and just apply them to their own images. For instance, this young lady right here, if I go and I hit what I call dots 1 on my gritty half, it automatically applies a halftone texture process. Now, it's not just a halftone. I have a whole process behind what I did there. And it's something that can easily be achieved. There's nothing magic about what I just did there. It just happens to be that I have created something that makes it easy to do without having to go through the whole rigmarole of doing that process. Here's another one in color. Then I have this one, which is just noise. You can see how noisy it got. I'm calling this set the gritty half, and within it, there are 36 different macros that you could run to create different things and even layer those things on top of each other to create even more things. But this isn't to promote the gritty half. What this is to promote is the idea that I've created these things that are an extension of a process that I've made for myself that I know other people might be able to use. And maybe there's a process that you've done within whatever app it is that you work in. You could turn that process into a single button click for somebody so that they can just run this script as many times as they want without having to hassle with all the muckety muck to go to the filters and the adjustments and the layers and the textures and the block and just make it easy for me, Dave. There's probably something you do in your process that you take for granted that somebody else would really be able to benefit from, and the only way they're ever gonna get it is if you go and make a one-button solution. By the way, I'm gonna be doing a video on gritty half, and the product comes out next week. Just saying. And number 5, teach me something. We talked about the people that tried to find their side hustle during the pandemic. Well, maybe they forgot some things. Maybe they need some lessons, and maybe they want to come to you to learn that lesson. Now, you could teach them here on YouTube and just become the guy that people go to for learning the thing that you want to teach them. You get your subscribers up enough, then you can start earning revenue from Google by doing that. And more importantly, you can take your teaching skills and take them over to Skillshare or Udemy or Teachable or any one of these other places where you can make videos, make some content, put it up online, teach people how to do things. You already know how to do some things. Those people don't know how to do the things, and maybe you're really good at sharing how. Well, those people would love to learn from you, but the only way they can do that is if you go and take your content and put it someplace for them to buy it from you, or at least watch it repeatedly here and absorb all the ads. And they go 5 things that maybe you've considered, maybe you haven't considered, maybe you just needed a kick in the butt to get you started on how to make things for other people to solve their problems. But maybe just making those things isn't going to solve your problem. How you solve your problem on making these things is the number 1 tip that I have for you, and that is to go all in. Whatever thing you choose, whether it's one of those 5 or something else, go all in on that. I'm not kidding you on this, folks. This is probably one of the biggest lessons that I've ever learned. It doesn't matter what it is. Make it your core directive. Don't deviate. Don't go do all these different things. Please take this lesson from the guy that has done all the things. Attack that thing like it was your only option. Doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna win, but you will get further ahead if you are focusing on that one thing and putting all your energy into that one thing, at least for a while, until you figure out, like, it's not making me happy anymore, Dave. Okay, fine. Then go find the thing that's gonna make you happy, and then go all in that. Look, it's important to understand that even though we may not necessarily go into a full-blown recession, there is definitely gonna be some leaner times ahead, and you don't wanna miss an opportunity to help serve the people that might need your help. In fact, if you wanna know more about that, you should watch this video right here, okay? That's it, guys. I'm gonna get out. Remember, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya.
Come on, Simone, let's talk about your big butt.